Hey, how you doing? Welcome. We are here. How are you today on this Unwine Friday?
Yes.
So,
how are you?
Happy Unwine Friday, guys. What are you unwinding with?
Happy Unwine Friday. I do have wine today.
So basically, Unwine Friday, you can take whatever you want to unwind with, whether it's wine like we have, coffee, tea, whatever's going to bring you to that relaxation mode. Use that for Unwine Friday. Mm-hmm. So as you all know, I am Lissa Black, and I am going to bring you the heat with a little street is what I like to say, because I like to add a little in mine. And I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Well, I am Marie's life and health coach, certified life coach, not self-proclaimed. And I'm just here just add a little tools to. We're having a discussions, never telling you what to do because I am not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but just sharing tools that will be helpful for you to get through some things, and sharing my opinion and sharing my advice.
So guys, we have an awesome topic for you tonight. So like Marie said, she is giving you tools you can use, all right? And she's our certified life and health coach here on our channel. So tonight's topic, I'll let you tell them the topic.
Well, tonight's topic is never be afraid to tell your story and never let anybody silence you. And the reason why I want to come up with that topic is because of something that had happened, recently. Some people in your family can be uncomfortable with you sharing where you come from. But that's not to make the family look bad. It's to give other people courage and hope that they too can come from where you came from, and that they can make it, and that they can see it in their dreams if they came from a rough background like you did. And I just wanted to bring that topic because I think it's so important, because people should not be muzzled or held back from sharing their journey with others because a family member feels uncomfortable about it and they want to call other family members and make them upset. But thank God that we was able to, one of my aunt give her an understanding after somebody called her and upset her when the post wasn't even putting down, Well, I'll tell you the story.
So before that, he said, what do you mean? So just a quick little background, you guys. We have all come from different backgrounds, different experiences. And some of our experiences are a little more real, a little more raw, not real, but a little more raw, a little more uncanny than others, right? And sometimes when we tell our stories, whether they're good or bad, it can make other people feel uncomfortable, especially in our community. So many things in our families are covered up, mm-hmm. are not to be talked about. They made for you to keep a secret. And this is your story. This is something that you should be comfortable telling, because being open with your story brings freedom.
Brings freedom to you and can bring freedom to somebody else. So I can give him an example. I can give you an example. So one of my sisters made a post about not that right there, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. It's different. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Like, one of my sisters made a story and she shared an old house that we used to live in, an old little house in a neighborhood that they call the hood. And she said in her post, I used to get bullied, talked about, and I used to have to wear my shoes into their talk. And that right there offended like one of my aunts, who called and upset some of my other aunts, thinking that we were my sister was making my mother look bad when my sister said nothing about my mother at all. So what happened was they felt like her saying that she used to wear shoes to that talk was offensive and downing my mother, when it wasn't. Once we talked to my one aunt who's very close to us, she understood where we was coming from, instead of the other aunt just calling us, getting an understanding, and making it a big deal. But she understood where we were coming from, that when we're telling our story, we're not trying to make our mother feel bad because we might have came from poorness, or we might have had to eat ramen noodles every day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Melissa, his face. Okay, I'm in now. I did fix it. Hopefully y'all can see me now. So yeah, that's a part of it. Is what she was saying, giving that background. So the thing is what I'm trying to get across is whatever your story is, I want you to feel free to tell your story, because so often we hide what has happened to us. We can't, like, we bottle that up and we try to do away with it. If it was something that was bad, something that was tragic, something that was traumatic or dramatic, like whatever it is, you should not have to hide that, because that is a part of you. No, it does not have to be your story. Like, it's what happened to you. So you choose to be a survivor or you choose to be a victim.
Just
when it comes to your
tip of the camera. What does that mean?
What is that? Slap the tip of the camera. Okay. So I don't know what you mean by that. You will have to elaborate on that. So basically, what I was saying is, like, you have to be free in your own right. I found freedom here. I found freedom when I told my story. It was when I tried to hide it or try to make like it didn't happen or try to hide from my story is when I found myself my most unhappiest, my most depressed. Like, I couldn't fully be me because I could not say
a survivor.
My story.
That's right.
That's right. You could be a survivor or you could be a victim. Your story is what happened to you. It's what you do.
It's what you live.
And what you live. It's what you're going to do with your story. Many of us have been abused, whether that was physically, mentally, sexually. But it's no longer you should carry that burden. That's not your burden to carry. That's not, that shouldn't be an embarrassment for you, because so many times we carry these burdens and we carry this embarrassment when something has happened to us. And that's not your fault. It's nothing you did to bring that on, or it's nothing you did to cause that. So you shouldn't be ashamed, or you shouldn't be carrying that burden.
I don't want them letting, because when I thought about this topic, I thought about other people trying to silence other people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want. I want you to walk it, because expression is freedom. When you don't let anybody intimidate you to not express yourself. I don't care. Communicate, expressing who you are is being honest with who you are, how you feel, where you came from, and not letting anybody silence you.
Right.
Like, me and my sister, we lived in the same household, but we have two different versions of our lifestyle.
Yes.
We have my truth and her truth are two different, but I can't tell her truth is not her truth.
Exactly.
So when any of my sisters tell their story, and even though I might have seen it different, I'm not going to silence them, because that's their truth. That was their story. That's what they lived through, because a lot of us can live in the same household and live through two different journeys.
And not even just in the same house. I've been in the closet for many, many years.
Are you out of the closet now, or are you just now coming out right now?
I mean, it's time to come out and live your truth. You only got one life to live. Whatever that truth is about you, it's time to come out and live it, because the only person you hurting is you. Whatever you're hiding about you is you.
Not yet.
It's time to come out. I mean, because when you come out, you're coming out for you. You no longer have to hide yourself.
Scared of who? Because God already know who you are. You can't hide in the closet.
What makes
from
you
God.
scared?
And other people don't matter, because they can't judge us.
They can't, because honestly, your truth is what's gonna set you free. So coming out the closet, if people either gonna love you or they're not. They're gonna accept you or they're not. They're gonna support you or they're not. People who love you genuinely are gonna love you no matter what.
They don't have to agree with you not to love you. We all not going to agree with people, but I still love the people. It's a lot of people in my life. I might not agree with some of their behavior, but I love them and I respect them and I respect what they do. So if you have people who not going to love you and respect you, then those are the people who you don't want in your life anyway.
You don't. So I would say come out, be fully you, living your truth. Because that's your freedom.
And only person who can judge you is God, and He already know. He already know who
and
all of us are.
And you might be overthinking it, because a lot of times they probably know. And the whole time you living in this fear, and they like, oh, we know. We thought you knew we thought you knew we knew. Mm-hmm. And if you tell them, they're going to be like, wow.
You guys on Facebook, we are on 2 different platforms. We try to be on one platform, YouTube, but we need our help from Miss Mosley to help us go live on there. They want us to download the app. So
honestly, you don't owe anybody an explanation. What you don't like if you have a girlfriend, a significant other, then I think you should tell her. It's fair to have that conversation with her, so she begins her healing process and she begins her next steps. But don't hide behind a girlfriend
that she don't
if you
build her life around you. If you know in your heart that that's not it, because it's not fair to her or you.
Right. And I feel like that's the only person you really owe an explanation to, as far as, coming out the closet. But as far as you deciding this is my truth,
your time,
this is my life,
take your time and do it when you feel like it. But don't let it be because you're afraid of what nobody else is going to think.
Don't live in fear. Live in freedom. Live in your truth. So if that's coming out the closet, then that's what it is. How do I start the conversation?
That's difficult.
Well, I mean, it's a number of ways that you can start the conversation,
especially to a mate. It's no easy way with somebody who love you and think they're gonna be with you.
Right. It's really no perfect time. Let's say that. I would say the best thing you could do. You know her better than mostly anybody around her. You know what can get her to relax and how to kind of bring her in. That's my deal. You don't know how to tell her. Oh, that's gonna be difficult.
That's
it's really it really ain't gonna be a perfect time or a perfect way. But don't just throw it on her. Just kind of ease her into the conversation. Start getting her thoughts on how she feel about it.
Start cracking jokes about it first to see how she react.
See how she react. Like, girl, he cute, ain't he? See how she'll react, and then if she then kind of ease her into it, hold her hand through it. And if somebody said it's your truth, the thing is people are trying to be something they are not. So their story is hidden so they can maintain a fake image. Speak your truth, no matter how ugly it is. That is 100%
absolutely true. Because even if it makes your mother uncomfortable, your aunt uncomfortable, it's your truth. They have a truth that they're scared. Like, you can't be upset with me because you're afraid to walk in your truth and tell your story. Our freedom is in our story. And not only is our freedom, me telling people that I had a difficult time at home and telling people where I came from, and me being running away at home, dropping out of the 7th grade, and then coming back around and getting my degree and becoming a certified life and health coach and having a degree in psychology and doing all these things in the community. Right. This stuff uplifts people. You shouldn't feel it. You shouldn't take one part out of that and say, oh, they're trying to make my dead sister look bad. No, we're not. Actually, that makes her look good. My mother was a strong, beautiful woman. We blunt. My mama let us be free. Y'all think we ain't gonna be free now when my mama let us be free? My mama let us say whatever we felt like we wanted to say. Cause my mother felt like she had a muzzle put on her mouth.
Yeah.
So when we grew up, my mother always wanted us to speak our truth, to tell us how she felt.
Okay, so
and we're still those same people.
And we are. How do you feel about the don't say gay law in Florida? Oh, is that a thing? We're in Michigan, so I didn't know there was a don't say gay law.
Because gay to me always just meant happy. That's what I learned when I was younger.
I guess that's terrible because I guess it's a word, irregardless of what the new meaning or the meaning is behind it. It's a word, and you should be able to say, as long as it's not offensive or hurtful in any way.
I don't see how that can be.
But offensive. I don't know how. Right, that's what I said.
I don't know the other words that people use.
That's why. That's crazy. I can't believe the law they passed the law.
Somebody didn't like it, so they making all type of laws.
But nowadays they got like so many different terminologies for liking the same sex and trisexual, bisexual, heterosexual.
They almost got the whole alphabet.
They do. So it's a number of ways to say it. But anyway, it's so many laws we break, y'all, and we don't even know.
Florida is crazy with a lot of laws. Florida is that state. If anything crazy, you automatically know it came from Florida.
Right. So then to bring the audience in, have you ever felt silenced?
Yeah.
And not only have you ever felt silenced in your life or about your story, but did it come from the people you loved the most or you cared about the most? Because sometimes we feel like we can come and tell these people that's close to us that we love that something's happened to us. And then they like, oh, well, don't tell nobody else. That's a form of silencing you. that will silence you. So, have you ever felt silenced? And is there a story that you feel like you need to get out? Is this something that you still struggling with, that you like, man, I need to tell somebody? I mean,
we already got somebody who shared on YouTube.
Because that,
on TikTok.
Because that feeling don't go away, guys. It lives within you, and it begins to tear you down, because that thing is never going to go away. You cannot outrun it. And I know you're telling us, and we definitely appreciate that.
And but you telling us, did that make you feel better?
Right. Was that freeing to say it, to finally say it, and to say it to somebody else? I'm coming out the closet. I want to live my truth now. I'm done living in this closet. I'm done living this life that's not for me. So, I mean, how did that make you feel when you said it? Yeah, it did. Okay. That's awesome. And you're going to feel even better when you tell that person and you release her and say, you know what? I love you. You're a great person.
I ain't going to say
whatever.
I'm not going to, because I don't want to leave you wrong. Because really, you're going to go through a stage of emotions, because at the same time, he's going to hurt somebody who he loves. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be a string of emotions that he will have to work through.
You are.
Even though he will have a freedom, he still will have to work through some emotions.
And you do, and be there to support her as needed. But you got to know she most likely going to pull away first before she allow any type of friendship, support. Mm-hmm. But you never know.
But anybody on Facebook, have you guys ever felt like somebody tried to silence your story? Like how you seen things in life, how you felt like how you grew up, and or how something happened to you and they try to tell you it didn't happen that way, or... And then you're really not trying to hurt anybody else by telling your story. You're just telling a part of your life. Exactly. Because of your journey is a part of your purpose. Like my journey, what I went through, my journey, what I went through, I'm happy. I'm not ashamed of what I went through, and I don't feel bad about it, because guess what? When I tell people my story, it strengthens them. I give young girls hope when I go talk to 13-year-olds and tell them, and they find out, Miss Marie, you used to be a heathen? Yes, I was. And that's why I see hope in you, because I see me in you.
Right.
And so it gives them hope.
Right. And I want to read this out loud, because this might help and free somebody else. The comment says, it's always the people you love, family. When I spoke about my truth about sexual assault, it was the family talking the most crap, because I outed the family monster. That's deep, especially in our community, y'all. It's so many times we hide these people. We treat them like they the victim, and we hurt the victim. Like
by keeping them around.
You imagine having to see your the person who assaulted you, the person who hurt you every day, having to speak to them,
having to talk back to them, having to respect them.
That's crazy.
Like
and it's time, y'all.
It's time to stop.
It's time to expose them. Stop it.
Oh, let me tell y'all,
from around your people.
My generation, next generation, don't care about what that old generation talking about. It's time to stop. No more hiding that mess. No more letting people slag because they family. You treat them monsters like they treat the person who they abuse.
Some families need to be tore apart, because it has been generations and generations of people who has been abused sexually, mentally, physically. People put fear in them. People groom them, and they continue to do it. And if you don't out these people and say, look, no more, not in our house.
I like the saying where it says an uncovered devil is a defeated devil. Yes. And it's true, because when you hide things, you allow things to keep happening in the dark. But when you shine light on something, when you shine light on things that like to happen in the dark, it has to scatter, it has to disappear.
Exactly.
But if you keep on letting it be in the dark and act like it's not happening, even though that's not, where I wanted to go with this subject. I just
but y'all give us some love. Give us, share the live. But
I just want people to not be ashamed to share your story. Yep, your story might offend a family member because they don't like to face the truth of what happened or what happened in their lives or how they treat their own kids or something like that. But everybody should be able to tell their truth. If my kids got older and say, well, my mother did this and that, I'm going to feel some type of way about it, but I want you to tell your story, and I'm going to apologize to my kids. I'm not going to act like to my kids I was a perfect mother when I know I was not a perfect mother. I had times in my young parentinghood in my 20s where I was not a good mother. I used to party a lot and stuff like that. And I just wasn't the best mother that I can be. And if one of my kids get older and bring that back up, my job is to validate, acknowledge it, and apologize for it.
Exactly.
Not say, oh, I did this for you and I did that. No, that don't mean nothing. Because if they remember that part affected them deeply. And it's my job to apologize for that part so they can begin healing.
Right. So he said, you guys are going really deep. We want to go deep because we want you to be free. Whatever that thing is, everybody's story is so different. Some people have been just messed over and over again. And nobody has said to them, you are valuable. You are worth it. It was not your fault. Nothing you did to cause this. Do not carry that shame. That is not your shame to carry. That is that predator shame to carry. Do not be embarrassed because that you did not cause this. This is nothing that you should be embarrassed about, but to tell your truth.
You know why I'm laughing, Melissa? Because when we thought about this subject, we thought about it from two different ways.
No, we did, but I was talking when he said, you know, no self-sabotage.
No self-sabotage.
That was our last week topic.
That was our last week topic. Not telling your truth is self-sabotage.
That is.
Holding something that's literally tearing you apart for years after years and stopping you from moving forward is self-sabotage. Who you protecting? Who you protecting? Who feelings you protect? Who feelings is more important than yours?
Right.
Nobody's. Tell your story, no matter who are the fans.
And honestly, you could be in the same, look at y'all, let me tell you all this. You could honestly be in the same situation with somebody and experience it totally different because you are going to experience it from your experiences. You're going to experience it based off how your background has been. Here, an example, me and my sister, not her, but another sister.
That's her age.
We were she's a little closer in age to me.
Even though I look better than her, I'm older than her. No, this leg.
So anyway, so her and I, we were in this situation where she was like, you know, not interested in school at the time, and me, I was like, I did what I could, right? So her grades were worse than my grades. Now we were kids given, and my mom had basically said, oh, okay, you're fine, do whatever you're gonna do, and to me, she had said, you're on punishment. So for me, I'm like, man, why is she being harsher on me and my grades were better? And then my sister said, well, for me, it felt like she had given up on me. She already figured it was over for me, but she still had hope for you. So you could be in the same situation. And that was an aha moment. It was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. So we experienced the same situation at the same time, but very differently. And that's
But the real
happen.
thing is, a mother sees the strength in one child and sees another child more gentle. Like, you have to teach every kid, like, differently, kind of. Like, because like, when everybody say, I treat all my kids the same. It's really not true because every kid has a different need. Like, I have a kid that's developmental delayed. She gets more attention than I have a younger one. And the developmental 19-year-old probably get more attention than my 4-year-old because each kid has a different need. They learn different. They need some kids want more of your attention. Some don't care about your attention.
Yeah.
So you have to give your kids according to their needs. So it's not really true when we say, I treat all of them the same. No, we treat them according to their needs.
Then
A real mother, we treat our kids according to their needs.
Right. He said, I'll have no one. She's the only thing I have. You have someone. I mean, like, I get it, but that's not,
well, after you tell her, move to Michigan.
Right.
You have us.
Join us every Friday. No, but I mean, I get it, but it's still not fair. You know,
unless you just gonna just suppress it and just live your life.
Right.
With
I mean, and that can't be a happy life to suppress that. But yeah, I think it's still fair to tell her and let her choose where she want to be in your life at that time or what she want to be in your life at that time, and go from there.
Do you? But look, are you faithful to her? That's the sign. It just
okay. It just it did that.
Yeah, but my topic, even though the topic went a different direction.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking more of you, whatever your story is.
You know, I'm thinking like when you come from, like, if a person say, I came from being poor, this and that, and now I'm here, that shouldn't be shameful. It shouldn't be. That shouldn't make anybody else feel like a person is making their mother look bad. It's not my mother's fault that she was raised poor and then she tried to battle to get out of it but couldn't. But then her kids, the tools she put inside of us helped us reach another level. Right. That's actually a blessing. That's actually something to praise about. Right. Because it became better. She gave us better than her mother gave them, and then we was able to give our kids kids much better with the tools that she instilled in us.
Right.
And that's how you have to look at it. Like, not look at it as a bad thing when somebody tell their story from being low to victory.
Right.
Like, you have to look at it as a victory story. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Because I didn't want to go, because something deep like that, I would like to have different tools, because that
Right.
opens up wounds like that people have to deal with. So I definitely wasn't trying to go that route.
Yeah, and like I said, I was just, I was basically saying, whatever your story is, whatever your truth is, live freely. Say it if it needs to be said. Do it if it needs to be done. But live in your truth. Live in your freedom. And of course, as always, as we say, we are not medical professionals.
Psychologists.
We are not psychologists, psychiatrists, or, if you need that help, go get that help. Do not be ashamed to get that help. We definitely can do so.
But one thing I would like to say is, in one of my sessions that I do with my clients, it is about freedom of expression. It's called freedom of expression, because a lot of people feel like I can't express myself, even in their relationship. Well, if I say this, then they gonna get mad. But then you're not really living in your freedom if you're afraid to say how you feel.
Right.
You're not living in your freedom if you're not able to live how you live. Or like I said, like even to you, linebacker, saying how you fit, saying who you are. You can't live in your freedom if you truly somebody else. That means that if you're really somebody else in the inside, that means that you're pretending, you're acting. Your life is an act.
Yeah.
And that's deep to think about. That's why I don't let anybody silence me. I know how to say things respectful. Now I do teach my clients to, when you're expressing yourself, make sure you're always doing it in a respectful way.
Right.
So people can receive you. Because if you do it the wrong way, people block you and they don't receive you. So always do it in a way where you're being received. But you always have to express yourself. You never hold yourself back, who you are, how you feel, for nobody. I mean, there are times when we like, I'm not going to say nothing because you feel like if I say something, it's the wrong time. And you time it.
No value in what you're going to say.
Yeah, or you're angry.
More hurt than value.
Or you feel like it's not, okay, I can lose everything if I react like this. There are times when we have to, but when I say freedom of expression, I'm like, don't let anybody stop you from speaking where you came from, who you are, who you love, Just
don't overthink it.
Don't
Yeah, because he said waiting for the reaction is just scary. I mean, honestly, in our heads, y'all, we overthink. We play out these scenarios, and 90% of the time, it never happened like that. Have you ever thought of a scenario in your head that something was going to play out, and you going through the whole situation in your head, and then you
find it, oh, that wasn't that bad.
It didn't even happen like that, or it didn't even happen at all. So definitely don't overthink it. Don't assume or think what it could be. Just kind of go into it thinking it's going to be what it's going to be.
And if it's somebody who you can't talk to, you guys, one thing I have my clients do, if I feel like it's a person you can't talk to, I had them send a letter, or just write the letter out and we burn it, or write the letter out and keep it. But as long as you get it out of you, you know what I'm saying? That's it. As long as you get it out how you feel. If you have something that you've been holding in you, but you don't feel comfortable enough to tell that person or to tell anybody, write it out on a piece of paper, keep it, or just get it out of you.
Right, y'all. This is our safe space, guys. This is a safe space. This is a no judgment zone.
Absolutely.
We want this to be informative. We want this to be engaging. We want this to be real. So, this is where you come and we gonna kick it. If you got something you want to say, get off your chest. If you got something you want to confess, or just say it because you want to say it to somebody. Like one of our, not really even confess, but just you wanted to say it to somebody. This is our safe zone.
I know who y'all could confess.
How about your guys tell her for me? How about you guys tell her for me?
What you gonna do? You want us to call her and tell her?
How you want us to tell her? What we can do is we can set up we gonna tell her on live because the world can see that.
That'd be embarrassing.
That would be bad for her. I mean, and I think
yes.
I think that's a horrible idea, because imagine somebody you love
that you don't even know,
having a complete stranger tell you something so personal.
That's gonna be so
intimate.
And that'll make it worse. That'll destroy your relationship, because as a woman, coming from a woman, I'd rather for my man to tell me before anybody tell me, no matter what it is.
And women biggest sin is come to me as a woman.
Tell me first.
Tell me first, because we could have had that conversation. So, no, you're fine. Don't be sorry, but we just tell
you don't have to be sorry. We just telling you
as
women. Like, we want you to tell us
You
before
tell me.
anybody else. We don't even want nobody to know. We want to, if we, she might not even want to tell nobody this. So give her the chance if she want to keep it in.
Yes. But the worst thing you can do is let somebody else tell her, or she finds out, just in a way that's not from you. Because then she gonna be like, well, wow, you didn't trust me enough.
Now, if I was younger, I'd have took that and I would have called her.
Hey, girl.
But since I'm a grown woman.
Tell me, hello, Barbara.
Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley.
We play too much. Oh my goodness, yeah, we play too much. But for real,
you gotta tell her.
But yeah, that's something you should have a conversation with. Take her out to, take her out to dinner. Maybe maybe at home. You don't want her to act up.
I think it should be a home thing. Make her a nice
private
bubble bath. Get her relaxed.
But yeah, right. Get her drunk.
Don't get
not drunk. Buzz though. Buzz might bring it down a little bit. But back to the question, guys. Have you ever felt silenced? Have you ever felt like somebody silenced you? That's our question. Do you guys have topics you want to talk about? We want you guys to drop some topics for us, and we can discuss the topics for you. We will do the research for you, and we will bring it back on
any
live.
Topic, please
and we
comment one.
And we want y'all to get, we'll get everybody's engagement. So any topics you guys can think of that you want to talk about, again, we will do the research for you. We will bring it here on our Unwine Fridays. And then we can bring some guests in. If somebody want to be a guest and you want to talk about a topic. A
guest for the topic.
Because one time we got a DJ and that was just...
But one thing that I would like to say before we leave, because I like to give an action step. Your action step is, if it's something you want to talk about it.
Yes.
If it's something you're ready to get off your chest, get it off your chest. Even if it's in a letter and you burn it or you mail that letter off to the person. But don't hold it in no more, because it's holding you back. Some things hold people. I know people who are held back from things that happen to them, and because they haven't dealt with it or faced it head on. So that's your action step. Even if you just write that letter to yourself first, your first step, like, write it out to yourself and see how it sounds.
Right. And then don't let what happened to you be the period to your story.
No. Tell your story. Because your story, your victory, how you overcame your story, it's going to help somebody else overcome their story. Right, because you help
free other people. You really do. Mary, we sorry you missed it. But if you go onto our YouTube channel, it will be there.
It'll be on Facebook,
and we'll be back 8 o'clock. Next Friday. And again, like our live, share our live, give us some love, and drop some topics in the comments. We will do the research for you, and we will come and discuss it with you on our Unwine Friday.
And sorry if we went too deep. If we opened up anything that made you feel emotional, that was too overwhelming, like especially when we talked about when Melissa talked about sexual assault or anything like that, I'll give you a free session. Just comment so that we can work through those emotions and things like that. Because we don't want to leave anybody out there feeling like, oh, they got these bundled up emotions. Now they don't know where to put them or what to do with them. Yes. So just comment and let us know.
Always seek help, guys.
And we love you guys.
Thank y'all for joining us this week. This Unwine Friday. We hope that you have an amazing weekend. We love you. We will see you all next week. How do you find... Oh, you can find her... She's on TikTok and she's on
at Oiku Dume on Facebook, and then you'll see my link on there for my website. So just at Oiku Dume. And Oiku Dume is OIKOME, and it's just the Greek word for edify.
You know what? I'll share it in your inbox. What I'll do is I'll share her contact with you in your inbox, and that way you can find her and you don't have to search. But have a good weekend, guys. We will see you next time.